Tsuyoshi Mukoda was just an average Japanese office worker until one day, he and 3 others were summoned into another world. The Reincarnates Kingdom had summoned them to fight the Demon King. A priest checked their skills and found that the students had powerful combat and magical abilities, but Mukoda only got a skill called online grocery, which looked useless in battle. The king asked them all to help the kingdom, and the 3 students agreed right away. But Mukoda started to get suspicious after seeing the royal family living in luxury. He asked to stay separate, using his weak skill as an excuse, and the king let him go with 20 gold coins. His Japanese clothes made him stand out in the market, so he bought local clothes and supplies, then rented a room at an inn. There he found out he also had item box and appraisal. When he used online grocery and opened a Japanese shopping website, and he spent 1 copper coin and 8 iron coins to buy water and some food, which appeared right in front of him. He realized this skill could actually be useful in this world. Soon after, he managed to get the last seat in a wagon heading for the border, where he met a merchant selling a luxurious item, soap. The merchant told him item box was rare, and appraisal was even rarer, usually only given to heroes summoned from other worlds, so Mukoda hid his identity. The merchant warned him that the kingdom might close its borders soon. When Mukoda reached the border town, he learned public transport was already stopped because the government wanted to keep people inside for the coming war. He decided to go to the Venan kingdom no matter what, so he went to the Adventurers Guild. Because escorts were in high demand, the price for an escort was 8 gold coins, but he agreed. He set out with Werner, a C-rank adventurer, and his party, which also included the swordsman Vincent, the scout Rita, the mage Ramon, and the healer Franca. Mukoda took on the job of cooking for everyone during the trip, and at the first stop, he pulled out a small gas stove and pots from his item box. Rita thought it was an amazing magic stove, but Mukoda had actually bought a normal portable gas stove from online grocery. Expand. He made onion soup and served soft bread, and the party ate it all, thinking it was a special dish from his homeland. Then Rita spotted an agitated red boar, so Ramon lured it towards the group, and the party killed it. They took the hide and fangs, but they couldn't carry the rest of the meat, so Mukoda stored it in his item box. For an early dinner, Mukoda told everyone to wait until the meal was finished and used bacon, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, and sausages from online grocery to make a hot stew. Everyone started eating in silence, so Mukoda thought maybe they didn't like it. But in reality, they were impressed by the taste and wanted more. Rita noticed her body felt stronger after eating, and Mukoda knew from appraisal that food made with ingredients from online grocery could boost physical and magic power for a short time, so he decided to keep this secret. The journey continued, and Werner said it would take 2 or 3 more days to reach Venan. When they camped near the forest, Mukoda cooked thin slices of wild boar in ginger sauce and served them with cabbage. While the group was eating, fear appeared on their faces. Mukoda turned around and saw a huge Fenrir who asked for food, so Mukoda gave him some meat. Fenrir ate it all and kept asking for more, so Mukoda cooked until Fenrir was satisfied. After eating, Fenrir decided to make a familiar contract with Mukoda. Mukoda wanted to refuse, but because Fenrir gave him no choice, he agreed. Fenrir completed the contract, which meant Mukoda now had to feed him 3 times a day. Seeing that he only had 8 gold coins and 5 silver coins left, Mukoda realized he needed to start pinching pennies, while Fenrir warned him not to slack on his meals. After the contract, Fenrir asked Mukoda to give him a name. Mukoda first thought of Pochi and some other common dog names, but Fenrir got angry and reminded him he was not a dog. In the end, Mukoda named him Fel, which Fenrir liked. Mukoda, Fel, and Werner's party continued their journey to the Venan kingdom. Rita explained that, according to a famous story, a Fenrir once destroyed an entire country, and Franca confirmed it was true. Werner worried that border guards might not let Fel in. Mukoda had left Reincarnates to avoid attention, but Fel said he could handle anyone who caused trouble. At lunch, Mukoda saw most of the red boar meat was already gone. Fel only wanted to eat meat, so Mukoda ordered him to hunt his own food. Werner offered the rest of his party's meat, but Mukoda wanted Fel to take responsibility for his own big appetite. Everyone was shocked to see a Fenrir obeying orders, but Mukoda thought Fel had made the contract only because he wanted food. Fel went hunting and came back with a rock bird. Werner said it was a B-rank monster that would have been hard for his whole party to beat. Mukoda offered the other parts to Werner's party if they butchered it, while Fel wanted all the meat. Mukoda fried the meat until it turned golden and put teriyaki sauce on it. He served the adventurers first, with onion soup, while Fel grew impatient because his bigger portion took longer to cook. As soon as Fel got his food, he finished it quickly. When the group reached the Venan border, the guards gathered after seeing Fel, and their commander was worried such a famous creature could be a threat to the kingdom. Mukoda had Fel promise he would not hurt anyone unless they tried to harm them. The commander Reiner accepted Fel as Mukoda's contracted familiar, but Mukoda had to keep him under control. Mukoda threatened to stop his food if he caused trouble, so Fel agreed right away. A guild card was needed to enter the gate for free, but Mukoda did not have one, so he paid 5 silver coins for himself and 2 for Fel. Werner warned that news of someone traveling with the Fenrir would soon reach powerful nobles and even the king, so he advised Mukoda to join either the Merchants Guild or the Adventurers Guild. Through the first, he could do business, and through the second, he could sell Fel's hunting spoils. Franca suggested joining both. After paying another entry fee in town, a servant of Margrave Lindell invited Mukoda to visit his master's estate. Mukoda refused, saying he was just a traveler, but the servant kept insisting. Fel warned that if Mukoda was bothered again, he would take action, so the servant left in fear. Werner warned that nobles cared greatly about their reputations. Fel didn't care, and said that 400 years ago, he had fought an ancient dragon as an equal. Werner had Mukoda sign the document to complete the escort mission, and Mukoda realized he could write the local language. After that, Mukoda said goodbye to everyone and left with Fel. At the Merchants Guild, the woman at the reception told him there were 5 ranks in the guild, and Mukoda started at the lowest iron rank. The guild could also buy valuable items, so Mukoda decided to sell something later. At the inn, Fel was not allowed inside the room and had to stay outside. In the evening, Mukoda wanted to eat rice, so he ordered a second stove from online grocery. He fried red boar meat and served it with different sauces, including garlic, grated radish, onion, and truffle flavors. Fel was impressed by how the same meat could taste so different and kept asking for more. Mukoda made a steak bowl for himself by putting the meat on top of rice. Fel believed grains were inedible, but after tasting the rice with the meat, he changed his mind. The next morning, Mukoda took high-quality salt and black pepper to the Merchants Guild. The guildmaster had never seen spices so pure before. Mukoda hid the real source and said he found them while traveling. The guildmaster first offered 4 gold coins for the salt and 10 for the pepper. When Mukoda stayed quiet in surprise, the guildmaster thought he wanted more and raised the total to 17 gold coins. Mukoda accepted the deal but decided not to sell such things often. After that, Mukoda paid 5 silver coins to register at the Adventurers Guild. He listed his short sword as his weapon and Fel as his familiar. He got G rank and learned he had to complete at least 1 mission every month to keep his membership. He could only accept G or F rank jobs, so he chose a medicinal herb gathering job and planned to start it the next day. In the evening, Fel asked for garlic meat again. Mukoda remembered that garlic was bad for normal dogs and cats, so he quickly used appraisal and discovered that Fel was nearly max level and extremely powerful. Meanwhile, Werner's party remembered Mukoda's food and hoped to meet him again. The next morning, Mukoda got ready for his first Adventurers Guild mission, while Fel kept asking for breakfast. Most of the food was already gone. They went out to a field outside the city. Mukoda needed to gather medicinal herbs, while Fel went hunting for meat. Fel sensed many monsters nearby and worried Mukoda couldn't protect himself, so before leaving, he put a strong barrier around Mukoda. Mukoda started looking for Caillou and Maige grass. With appraisal, he easily picked out the right herbs from the common plants and collected more than needed. A little before lunchtime, Mukoda used online grocery to buy pasta, onions, ground beef and pork, ready-made meat sauce, and other things. He chopped onions and cooked them until soft, then added the meat, soup seasoning, and sauce. While he was cooking, Fel brought back another rockbird because he liked its meat before. Fel mentioned more monsters he had left at the edge of the forest, but Mukoda told him they could collect them later. Mukoda served meat sauce with the cooked pasta and sprinkled grated cheese on top. Fel found the long noodles strange at first and thought there wasn't enough meat, but he soon found them delicious. Fel's face made Mukoda laugh. Mukoda was also happy to eat food that reminded him of Japan. After eating, Mukoda saw Fel had already hunted many dangerous monsters. He stored the rockbird, bears, snakes, and other creatures in his item box. When he saw a group of orcs, he wasn't sure if their meat was edible. Fel said people had been eating orc meat for a long time, so Mukoda realized it was normal for people in this world to eat bipedal pigs. After finishing, Fel let Mukoda ride on his back and ran at high speed toward the city. Mukoda kept telling him to wait. When they arrived, Mukoda warned Fel that if he died after falling off, Fel would never be able to eat otherworldly food again. At the Adventurers Guild, Mukoda turned in the herbs. The woman at the counter was impressed to see a new G-rank adventurer bring so many herbs and paid him 9 silver and 3 copper coins. She also showed interest in Fel, who was waiting outside. Mukoda asked if the guild could butcher and buy the monsters Fel hunted. He said he wanted to start with 5 orcs, and the staff member led him to the back area. There, Mukoda pulled out 5 orcs and several B-rank and A-rank monsters. The staff was shocked to see such valuable monsters and recognized Mukoda as the famous guy traveling with with a Fenrir. Mukoda wanted to keep the edible meat and sold the hides, teeth, feathers, and other parts. Processing everything would take until the next day, but Mukoda asked for some meat right away for dinner. When the staff suggested orc meat, Fel chose it. The staff butchered one orc on the spot and gave Mukoda fresh meat for dinner. Items never spoiled inside Mukoda's item box, so the meat wouldn't spoil. In the evening, Mukoda seasoned thin slices of meat with salt and pepper, coated them in flour and beaten eggs, and fried them until cooked. With cheese, parsley, and sauce, he made 2 types of pork piccata. Fel liked the soft meat a lot. Mukoda felt strange about eating meat from a monster with a human shape, but after tasting it, he found it tender and as delicious as premium pork. The next morning, Mukoda returned to pick up the processed meat and money. After the butchering fee, the staff gave him 202 gold coins. Mukoda was shocked by the amount, but the staff explained that monster parts were very valuable. Red boar pelts were useful, and their fangs were used in many crafts. Rockbird feathers had many uses, and orc testicles were an important ingredient in aphrodisiacs. The staff also returned the magic stones and explained that they were packed with magic and found in monsters ranked A or higher. People in the city were arguing about whether Fel was just a great wolf or a real Fenrir, but a former adventurer on the staff was sure he was the real thing. Mukoda thought calling Fel a great wolf could solve many problems, so he decided to travel farther inland and away from the border. With his guild card, plenty of meat, and a lot of money, he set out again with Fel. By evening, they stopped to camp. Happy with Fel's earnings, Mukoda prepared a special meal for him. After serving fried chicken, meatballs, and ground meat cutlets, he made Japanese black wagyu steak. The portion was small and the price high, but Fel thought it was extremely tender and delicious. Mukoda explained that in Japan, these cattle were raised especially for eating. Soon after, Fel suddenly felt a huge boost in power. Appraisal showed that the wagyu had increased all his abilities by 50%. Fel made a barrier strong enough to deflect Dragon's breath. Then, even though Mukoda protested, he ran off to hunt. All night, he used his boosted power to defeat a rock bird, a giant deer, an orc general, a chimera, and other monsters. In the morning, Mukoda woke up to find piles of monster corpses around the camp. Fel admitted he was having so much fun that he went overboard. After seeing this, Mukoda decided never to feed him Japanese wagyu again. Meanwhile, back in the city, the 2 guild receptionists talked about this unusual pair. Michaela initially thought Bianca was interested in Mukoda, but Bianca was actually heartbroken over Fel. During the journey, Mukoda cooked cockatrice meat with soy sauce and lemon butter. Fel thought it was lighter than rockbird, while Mukoda compared the difference to chicken and duck. While talking, Mukoda asked Fel how he hunted. Fel said he usually used his claws and teeth, but wind magic was his strongest power. His magic was even stronger because of the blessing from the wind goddess Ninrir. Mukoda wanted to learn magic too. When he checked his status, he saw he had mana. Fel explained that Mukoda needed to let mana flow through his body, while Mukoda realized he needed to clearly imagine the result he wanted. Mukoda tried to make a fireball, but nothing happened, so Fel helped him feel the warm energy flowing inside. On the second try, Mukoda made a small fireball. Fel thought normal practice would be too slow, so he decided to train Mukoda through real combat. Mukoda protested because he couldn't use a sword and didn't want to get hurt, but Fel took him to fight monsters anyway. There, they found a whole goblin village. Fel thought it was perfect for beginner training. The goblins noticed them before Mukoda could act. He let Mukoda fight the regular goblins while he hunted higher-level goblins. Even though he was scared, Mukoda kept firing fireballs. Some attacks hit. Fel's barrier protected him from the goblins. Still terrified, Mukoda attacked again and defeated several goblins. His magic slowly improved, but after using it so much, he ran out of energy. Before passing out, Mukoda asked Fel to take care of the rest. Later, Mukoda woke up and got angry at Fel for putting him in danger. Fel said the training was a success. Mukoda gained fire magic skill, leveled up, and got a small boost in his stats. Goblins were worthless to Fel because they were not edible, but Fel brought back the Goblin King's magic stone, which could be sold later. Fel wanted expensive Japanese food and wagyu as a reward, but Mukoda refused because they already had plenty of monster meat and money. Afterward, Mukoda felt exhausted and wondered if he had run out of magic. He ordered sweetbread and some snacks from online grocery. He felt his body soaking up the sugar, and Fel smelled the food and ate it too. Mukoda warned him that too many sweets could rot his teeth and cause diabetes, but Fel said Ninrir's blessing protected him from poison, sickness, and other problems. Mukoda also wanted a goddess's blessing for himself. Later, they reached another town. The guard stopped them, thinking Fel was a dangerous wolf monster. Mukoda showed his guild card and explained that Fel was his familiar. The guards mistook Fel for an A-rank great wolf and were surprised that a low-rank adventurer had a contract with such a strong monster, but let them in with a warning about responsibility. At that moment, Fel corrected Mukoda through mental communication, saying he was not a great wolf. Mukoda learned for the first time that he and Fel could communicate through their thoughts because of their familiar contract. He asked why Fel hadn't told him before, and Fel said there had previously been no need. Mukoda left Fel at the inn and went to look for a map. At the bookstore, a beginner's magic book cost 7 gold coins because paper was so expensive. The shopkeeper said world maps were nationally restricted items. Mukoda spent 2 silver coins to enter the city library, but found nothing useful before it closed. When Mukoda came back late, Fel was impatiently waiting for food. Mukoda ordered ready-made yakitori and pork cutlets from online grocery and served them with sweet and salty sauces. Fel liked the different flavors and the crispy coating on the meat. Mukoda dipped cutlets in sauce and buried them in white rice for himself, but Fel saw this and asked for a share of that meal too. Later, Mukoda went to a tavern to get information about nearby countries from experienced adventurers. He bought drinks for one party, and they told him that since the current king took power, Reincarnates had been in constant wars and chaos. There were also many dungeons in the eastern countries that attracted adventurers. Mukoda was interested in them but did not want to enter because staying alive came first. When he mentioned not finding a map, one adventurer sold him a map that they said came from a retired adventurer for a gold coin. After they left, others told Mukoda that the same map was available at the Adventurers Guild for just a silver coin. Mukoda felt embarrassed by his mistake, but took it as a lesson to be more careful in this world. After that, Mukoda decided that he and Fel would head east toward the sea. Fel said the sea serpents and krakens from the sea were delicious, while Mukoda was still bothered about the gold coin. In the world of the gods, the wind goddess Fenrir watched Fel traveling with Mukoda and wondered how her powerful servant had become so close to a human. She was also interested in the things Mukoda brought from the other world, especially the sweets, but stayed quiet because of how the other gods might react. Meanwhile, Fel was running quickly through the forest with Mukoda on his back. On their way to the sea, Fel suddenly stopped at a lake because he wanted to eat fish. Mukoda didn't have fishing gear, so Fel attacked the water with lightning, which stunned several fish and brought them to the surface. They collected trout, a large king trout, and several other fish. Fel suggested eating a colorful fish, but appraisal showed it was poisonous. Fel was safe because of his divine protection, but it could poison Mukoda, so he threw it back. Mukoda cleaned the safe fish and cooked them in different ways. He salted the small fish and grilled them over a fire. He wrapped king trout meat with onions, mushrooms, salt, pepper, and butter in aluminum foil and cooked it. He also coated some pieces in flour and fried them. Fel didn't know he needed to open the foil, so Mukoda told him to open it first. Both liked the soft, tasty fish, and Fel immediately asked for more. Mukoda drank beer and was happy about his improving cooking skills. While eating, a small slime bumped into Mukoda's foot. Fel said it might have already been there before the barrier went up and that a slime that weak wasn't dangerous. Appraisal showed it was only 3 days old and very weak. The hungry slime started eating camp trash, leftovers, and pebbles. Mukoda stopped it from eating his frying pan and plates. When he praised the slime for cleaning, it became happy and wrapped around his hand. Fel explained that by accepting its feelings, a familiar contract was formed. Mukoda named it Sui. After naming Sui, Mukoda practiced earth magic by firing stone bullets, but his attacks were still weak. Fel advised him to get real combat experience, but Mukoda still wanted to practice safely for now. After a while, he noticed Sui's body had grown bigger and its level was rising quickly. He wondered whether eating trash from another world was making Sui stronger at an unusual speed. For their next meal, Mukoda made orc meat marinated in miso and served it with rice. Fel liked the taste of the spices, and Sui was happy to eat Japanese food for the first time. Both familiars asked for more food. The meal gave Sui a temporary power boost. Sui also learned to clean dishes without eating them. To celebrate Sui's first full meal, Mukoda served dorayaki and green tea. Sui made its body into a heart shape to show happiness. Fel also enjoyed the soft cake and sweet red bean filling. The next morning, Fel delivered a message from Fenrir. She was willing to give Mukoda a minor divine blessing, but in return, he had to offer her otherworldly sweets every week. The blessing would make him immune to status ailments, accept instant death effects and very strong curses, and also help him control magic better. Mukoda agreed to the deal and used a rock as a simple altar. He ordered anpan, cream bread, melon bread, and milk coffee, placed them on the altar, and prayed. The items disappeared, his body started to glow, and Fel confirmed he had received the blessing. In the world of the gods, Fenrir happily ate everything. She liked the soft bread, sweet filling, and coffee a lot. When he practiced again, Mukoda's stone bullets became faster and stronger than before. Sui also reached level 13, while Mukoda got tired from using too much magic. Mukoda recovered his energy with coffee and chocolate, and gave Sui some chocolate too. Fel smelled it and asked for his share as well. Soon afterward, Fenrir demanded more chocolate and dorayaki. Mukoda reminded her that only a few days had passed since his last offering, but she insisted. In the end, Mukoda sent more sweets. After that, he sat on Fel's back with Sui, and the three of them continued their journey. While Fel privately decided he needed to take Mukoda somewhere, Fel took Mukoda and Sui to a newly formed dungeon. He'd already checked the place and knew the monsters inside weren't very strong. Fel wanted Mukoda to improve his earth magic and fighting skills. Mukoda tried to refuse, but eventually agreed after Fel assured him that his barrier would keep him safe. Before going in, Mukoda ordered various foods from online grocery and ate them, since food from Earth gave a temporary boost in abilities. Fel and Sui finished the rest, and Sui swallowed the empty containers to increase its level. After a while, Mukoda's abilities increased by about 20%, while Fel's stats also rose and Sui's stats and level increased. Mukoda entered the dungeon, but walked so slowly that Fel kept pushing him forward. The first monster was a regular slime. Mukoda hesitated, but Sui spat acid and finished it off right away. When another slime appeared, Mukoda defeated it with Stone Bullet. The dead monsters were absorbed into the ground. Fel explained that a dungeon was like a living thing and absorbed anything that died inside. Next, horned rabbits attacked. Mukoda was so scared he forgot magic and used his sword. When goblins appeared, he accidentally used Fireball instead of Stone Bullet. Fel explained that dungeon monsters saw everyone who entered as an enemy, so they were more aggressive than monsters outside. Some kobolds chased Mukoda. At first, he ran away, but then he pulled himself together and knocked them down with stone bullets. Fel said the experience was useful, but Mukoda still needed a lot of practice with his magic. On the lowest floor, the path opened into a big room containing far more kobolds than the 10 Fel had seen earlier. Mukoda immediately tried to turn back, but Fel told him to trust the barrier and promised to help if things got too dangerous. Sui was ready to fight, and Fel pushed Mukoda into the room. The kobolds surrounded them, but their weapons couldn't get through Fel's barrier. Mukoda fired stone bullets with both hands, and Sui kept spitting acid. Together, they defeated almost the whole group. 2 kobolds tried to escape, but a huge kobold king threw them back. The Kobold King attacked with a big axe. Mukoda ran and fired stone bullets, but they didn't do much. Fel warned him that the barrier might not completely withstand the Kobold King's attack. Mukoda kept attacking the Kobold King with stone bullets until he ran out of mana and collapsed. The Kobold King attacked again, but the barrier stopped him. At the same time, Sui released powerful acid and finished him off. After the victory, Sui evolved from a baby slime into a stronger slime. When Mukoda woke up outside the dungeon, he heard Sui speak in a cheerful voice for the first time. Sui called him Master and asked if he was okay. When Mukoda checked the status, he saw that even though Sui was only 14 days old, its abilities had grown a lot. Mukoda had also gained 4 levels and reached level 7, and earth magic had been added to his skill set, but his stats were still lower than Sui's. Sui got worried, but Mukoda told it he was happy about its growth. Sui said Fel had gone hunting because he was hungry. A while later, Fel came back with a bloody mouth and asked for food. Mukoda realized Fel had exaggerated the risk of the barrier breaking to make him use all his magic. Even so, the training was helpful, so he agreed to cook. Mukoda ordered eggs, rice, soy sauce, and other things. He chopped onions and rockbird meat, cooked them with seasoning, then added beaten eggs. He put the half-cooked eggs and meat over rice to make oyakadon. Fel and Sui enjoyed it and immediately asked for more. After eating, Sui said he had talked to Uncle Fel while waiting for Mukoda to wake up. Fel objected to the name, but when his harsh voice scared Sui, Mukoda picked Sui up and comforted him. While Mukoda was unconscious, Sui had explained that Fel was born earlier and was big, strong, cool, always with them, and kind. So Sui wanted to call him Uncle Fel. In the end, Fel allowed Sui to use the name. With Sui's new voice and Mukoda's first dungeon victory, their tough day finally ended. Fel explained that the forest ahead was divided between Orthros and Griffins, both powerful creatures that humans avoided. Mukoda wanted to take a different path, but Fel said they wouldn't be a problem for him. Soon, several Orthros confronted them. Fel told Mukoda and Sui to stay back and defeated the Orthros using his rending claws. Sui wanted to copy Fel, but couldn't because he didn't have claws. Mukoda told him his acid attack was also very good, and Sui was happy to be praised. Afterward, Mukoda remained nervous because of what had happened earlier, but Fel assured him the Orthros wouldn't come back. When Sui got hungry, Mukoda started cooking right away. Fel complained that Mukoda treated Sui very differently from him. Fel said they had traveled a little over halfway, so Mukoda calculated that it would take roughly 3 more weeks to cross the forest. Mukoda made spicy black serpent meat. He separated the meat from the bones, cut it into small pieces, and marinated it with salt, sugar, and sake. Then he cooked it with ginger, garlic, green and white onions, spices, and thick chili sauce. The black serpent tasted like chicken, so Mukoda tried some too. The food turned out great. Fel and Sui eagerly asked for some too. The The two of them ate Mukoda's portion as well, leaving him with a black serpent sandwich. Later, they found some healing mushrooms. Fel said they could quickly heal serious wounds and broken bones. Mukoda wanted to collect some for emergencies, but Sui liked the smell and started eating them. After eating a large amount, Sui's body began to glow. Appraisal showed he had gained a new skill, healing potion creation. Fel thought Sui gained the skill from eating so many medicinal mushrooms. Mukoda praised Sui and told him to try the new power, but to stop right away if it hurt. Sui produced a healing potion, which Mukoda collected in a bottle. Appraisal said it was a high-grade healing potion that could even save someone near death. Sui explained that he could make two weaker types of potions as well. Fel had never seen a slime with such a skill. 3 days after entering the territory of the Griffins, a large griffin landed in front of them. He explained that fighting the powerful Fel would let him prove himself worthy of leading his pack. Fel accepted the challenge, while Mukoda asked him not to kill the griffin. Fel attacked first, and the two fought until Fel badly wounded the griffin. When the fight ended, Mukoda scolded Fel for going too far. The wounded griffin thought he had failed, but Sui used the strongest healing potion on his wounds, which started to heal quickly. Mukoda told him he had managed to injure a famous Fenrir, which was a huge achievement. Encouraged, the griffin was accepted by the other griffins as their new leader. Before leaving, he gave Mukoda one of his feathers, which would guarantee safe passage through their territory. Afterward, Fel demanded a big feast. Mukoda coated orc meat in flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, then fried it. He served it with chopped cabbage and sauce, making a meal like tonkatsu. Fel and Sui kept asking for more, so Mukoda kept frying meat. During the meal, Fel brought up Ninrir's weekly offering, and Mukoda realized he had forgotten it. Finally, they left the forest and reached a wide plain near the kingdom of Leonhardt. Mukoda was happy, but they were almost out of meat. As soon as Fel heard this, he insisted they find a man-made road immediately. On the way, they found a merchant caravan surrounded by bandits. Mukoda promised Fel a great meal if he helped. Fel moved forward while Sui covered Mukoda's ears. Fel intimidated the bandits into dropping their weapons. The merchant introduced himself as Lambert, while Lars introduced himself as the leader of the Phoenix Adventurer party hired as his bodyguards. Lars had heard rumors about the traveler who had made a contract with a Fenrir. Lambert said they were heading to Carolina, a northwestern city in the kingdom of Leonhardt. Mukoda asked to join them, and Lambert agreed. Later, Mukoda made his late offering. Ninrir complained she had waited over a week and warned him never to forget again. Mukoda apologized and offered her many western sweets. As soon as Ninrir tasted them, her anger disappeared, and she demanded the same amount in the future too. While traveling with Lambert's caravan, Mukoda overheard two guards talking about whether Fel was a great wolf or a Fenrir. He was surprised that their news had reached this area already. The guards explained that guild branches used a magic teleportation tool to quickly exchange important letters with each other. Mukoda started to worry that people might also find out he was from another world. That evening, Fel reminded Mukoda of the special meal he was promised for helping Lambert and the others. To avoid attention, they started cooking in a separate part of the camp. Fel asked for meat, and Sui wanted the same, so Mukoda agreed right away. They had small amounts of black serpent, cockatrice, rock bird, giant deer, and other monster meats left. Mukoda used garlic, ginger, wine, soy sauce, flour, and various spices to prepare the meat and made 2 kinds of fried meat. The smell reached Lambert, Lars, and the rest of the caravan. Seeing their interest, Mukoda invited everyone to eat. Even though the food was hot, every batch was eaten right away. Mukoda kept frying meat until it was all gone, and there was nothing left for himself. In return for the meal, Lars's group took the night watch and guarded the captured bandits. When the prisoners made noise, Mukoda warned them that Fel would shred them to pieces. The next morning, the caravan reached Carolina. Lambert explained that it was the 5th largest city in the kingdom of Leonhardt, and that his family had been in the leather business for generations. The bandits were handed over to the city's knights. Lambert invited Mukoda to visit his shop, while Lars's group went to the Adventurers Guild. At the guild, Mukoda learned that his membership had been deactivated because he hadn't completed a job in a month. He had to start again at G rank. After reaching F rank, he could keep his membership for 3 months without doing a job. Since he needed the guild to process monster meat and materials, he registered again and listed Sui as his second familiar. Some adventurers mocked Mukoda for carrying Sui, thinking it was just a normal slime, but Mukoda had full confidence in him. At the processing counter, Mukoda presented the monsters Fel had hunted, but decided not to reveal the final one. The butcher was happy to see the red serpent and other high-level monsters. He explained that guild staff handled both the meat and other materials carefully, while unlicensed butchers could be sloppy or dishonest. Lars's group was shocked to see the stockpile and asked about the meat they ate last night. When Mukoda Mukoda listed black serpent, cockatrice, rockbird, and giant deer. They realized they had eaten very valuable meat. They apologized for eating too much, but Mukoda told them he was not lacking ingredients. Lars promised that his group would help Mukoda if needed. Later, Mukoda stayed at a comfortable inn. Before sleeping, Fenrir contacted him to remind him about her offering of sweets. Pudding and jelly were featured in a fair at online grocery, so Mukoda bought a couple of fancy-looking ones. He thanked Fenrir for her blessing and sent the sweets to her through prayer. The next morning, Mukoda checked the guild job board. He wanted to gather herbs because it seemed safe, but Fel suggested hunting goblins to earn points faster. Fel also wanted to reach the sea soon to eat sea serpents and krakens. When Mukoda refused, Fel asked Sui if he wanted to fight. Sui happily agreed, so Mukoda had to go along. They reached the eastern forest, where every 5 goblins earned 3 silver coins and 3 points. Mukoda needed 100 points for F rank. He found it hard to cut off the goblins' ears. Fel pointed out where 3 goblins were, and Sui quickly finished them off with acid shots. Mukoda then remembered he needed to bring back goblin ears as proof. The noise attracted more goblins, and Sui took care of them too. Fel sensed a whole goblin village deeper in the forest. Mukoda wanted to turn back, but Fel and Sui pushed ahead despite his protests. When they reached the village, Suri defeated all the goblins. Mukoda struggled to collect the required ears. Leaving the bodies could cause a dungeon to form near the city, but burning them might set the forest on fire, so Mukoda asked Sui to dissolve the corpses. Suri grew large and used his new proliferate skill, splitting into many smaller slimes that dissolved all the bodies and cleaned up the area. Appraisal showed Sui had become a big slime and could now change his size and make multiple copies of himself. Fel had never seen a slime with such a skill before. Mukoda thought this skill would let Sui make several potions at once. Later, they ate bread. Mukoda bought corn mayo bread, Hamburg steak bread, sausage bread, and curry Danish. Sui ate it happily. Fel also praised the bread but denied trying to be considerate when Mukoda paid attention to him. Because of the big goblin village, Mukoda earned 100 points in one day and reached F rank. Meanwhile, Fenrir enjoyed her pudding, and the other goddesses started to notice her unusual sweets. Mukoda arrived at the Adventurers Guild with a huge amount of proof from the Goblin Hunt, which surprised the staff and other adventurers. Guildmaster Willem immediately called Mukoda and his familiars into a separate room. Mukoda worried that wiping out an entire goblin settlement would become a big deal, but Willem acknowledged that they had removed the threat and promised an extra reward. Sui proudly said he had also defeated many goblins, but Willem could not hear him. Willem then showed them an official message from the royal palace. According to this message, Mukoda could live freely anywhere in the kingdom, and the nobles had already been notified. In return, the royal family wanted Mukoda and Fel to help the country in case of an emergency. Mukoda felt relieved after hearing this. Willem explained that the mere presence of a legendary monster in the kingdom was considered a threat to its neighbors. Willem thought a normal guild rank wasn't suitable for Fel's master, so he decided to give Mukoda a direct promotion to C rank. In exchange, Fel had to complete several time-sensitive A rank and S rank requests for the guild. Fel confidently accepted the condition. Mukoda then showed Fel's previous hunts, including Chimera, Orthros, Orc King, Blue Ogre, and 4 other ogres. The guild butcher Johan was very happy to see them, but Willem ordered him to keep it secret. Some monsters were so rare and valuable that the guild couldn't buy them or even competently set a price. Mukoda learned that Chimera and Blue Ogre were extremely dangerous monsters, even though Fel had defeated them easily. Sui said he wanted to fight strong enemies like Uncle Fel. Mukoda advised Sui not to push himself too hard. Willem called them to pick up their new guild card and money the next morning. At the inn, Mukoda made a lighter meal instead of fried food. He boiled rockbird breast with sake and salt and shredded it with Sui's help, then served it with cucumbers, tomatoes, and sesame dressing to make rockbird banbanji. Mukoda also made a second dish. He seasoned small pieces of rockbird with sake and soy sauce, then stir-fried them with bell peppers and Chinese seasoning paste. Sui really liked the sweet brown sesame dressing and later wanted some of Mukoda's bread. Mukoda ate his meal with bread and beer. Even though the bell peppers tasted a little bitter, Sui finished them, so Mukoda praised him. After eating, Fel complained that his sleeping spot was too cramped. Mukoda laid out a futon for him. Fel slept comfortably on it. The next morning, Willem gave Mukoda his C rank card and told him he now had to complete 1 request every 6 months. He also handed over a payment totaling 190.46 gold coins. This included the reward for the Goblin Village and payment for the monster materials. One set was worth 461 gold coins, and the other was 1415, with red serpent materials being especially valuable. This was the largest amount ever paid for a single adventurer's sale by the guild. Mukoda realized he now had over 2,000 gold coins and started to worry about theft. Willem then gave him 2 jobs. The first was to take out a metal lizard at the foot of Pascal Mountain, which had scales as tough as iron. The second was to eliminate a herd of dangerous bloody horn bulls in the western plains. Their meat was considered delicious, and the guild wanted to buy half of it. Hearing about such high-quality meat, Fel wanted to leave right away, but Mukoda refused to travel at night and decided to go shopping first. He went to Lambert's leather shop to look for a new pouch for Sui. After trying different bags, Sui chose the soft red boar leather pouch. Mukoda also picked out a strong knife belt, a snakeskin wallet, and new leather shoes. The total price came to 11 gold coins, but Lambert refused to take the money. He said it was repayment for saving his life and letting the caravan eat rare meat. Lambert asked Mukoda to show him any rare hides, especially black serpent hide, before selling them elsewhere. Mukoda agreed. On the way back, Sui showed how happy he was with his new comfortable pouch. Hearing about serpent made Fel hungry, while Sui asked for carriage. Mukoda seasoned red serpent meat and fried it twice, making the outside crispy and the inside juicy. He tasted a piece, and Fel and Sui immediately demanded their share. Mukoda kept frying meat until even Fel admitted he was full. Mukoda was happy to see Fel completely satisfied and enjoyed carriage and beer under the moonlight. Meanwhile, Ninrir ate the Japanese sweets Mukoda had offered, including dango, kohakuto, and soft water-based sweets. Mukoda warned her not to eat too much, while the other goddesses noticed that she was hiding something and complained that it was unfair. Mukoda, Fel, and Sui reached the mountain where a metal lizard had been seen. Fel sensed it and quickly led the way to a cave. Inside, they discovered the metal lizard had eaten mithril ore and mutated into a mithril lizard. Mithril could absorb or scatter magic power. Even so, Fel finished it off instantly with a spell powerful enough to overpower that resistance. Mukoda put the corpse in his item box and also found a natural mithril deposit in the cave. He collected some pieces, thinking about making weapons or protective gear, but Fel said his barrier was better than any armor. Now Fel wanted to complete the second job because he wanted to eat bloody horn bull meat. According to the quest, these monsters were as big as rhinos, aggressive, and lived in herds. Mukoda decided to stay back with Sui, but Sui went off to fight too. When Mukoda saw them, the battle was already over. Fel had defeated most of the herd with wind magic, and Sui finished off the bulls that were still standing. Then Sui split into many small slimes and helped Mukoda store all the corpses in the item box. Before heading back, they ate lunch. Mukoda made sandwiches from leftover fried meat and gave Sui cola for the first time. Sui liked the sweet taste and bubbles. Fel also drank cola, but after drinking 1.5 liters, he burped. Sui was impressed by the sound, which made Fel protest. At the Adventurers Guild, Willem and Johan were shocked to see the mithril lizard. The last record of one was about 400 years ago. Finding a mithril mine in the cave was even bigger news since it was one of the world's rarest and most valuable metals. Willem said this was a godsend for the city lord. The guild would take the mithril lizard, and the city lord would probably present its skin to the king, along with news of the newly discovered mine. Including the original hunting reward, Mukoda was expected to receive at least 5,000 gold coins. The discovery would be kept secret. Willem was about to ask about the bloody hornbull job, but Mukoda told him Fel and Sui had already wiped out the whole herd. Mukoda worried that getting huge rewards all the time would make it hard to live a peaceful life, while Fel only cared about the meat. Mukoda seasoned thick, bloody hornbull steaks with salt and pepper and cooked them, then wrapped the meat in foil so the heat would disperse evenly inside. Mukoda enjoyed the overflowing umami, while Fel said the wagyu he had eaten was also delicious. But this meat was delicious in its own way. They ate more steaks with garlic-flavored sauce and other flavors. Sui was full, and Fel was satisfied. Later, Mukoda prepared an offering for Ninrir. Ninrir wanted more cake, pudding, daifuku, and other sweets, but just then, 3 more goddesses appeared. The fire goddess Agni, earth goddess Kisharli, and water goddess Rizalka had happened to catch Ninrir receiving delicious-looking sweets from an otherworlder and now wanted offerings of their own. Agni and Kisharl offered to give Mukoda their blessings in exchange for sweets, which would make his fire and earth magic stronger. Ninrir reminded them that the creator had scolded them for giving out too many blessings, which was why she had only given Mukoda a minor blessing before. Mukoda worried that someone might see multiple blessings in his stats, but Agni and Kisharli gave him minor blessings anyway. Rusalka then said Mukoda had no water affinity, so giving him her blessing would be meaningless. Rusalka became upset because, without giving Mukoda her blessing, she would be the only one without any offerings. Then Sui offered to make medicine for Mukoda, and Mukoda found a solution. He asked Rusalka to give her blessing to Sui. Rusalka gave Sui a full blessing, although she usually only blessed one person every 100 years. Mukoda promised to send all the goddesses equal offerings, while Ninrir complained that she had given him her blessing first. To end their argument, Mukoda ordered lots of sweets for everyone. After seeing his new blessings, he decided to keep them secret so he wouldn't attract more attention. The next morning, Mukoda tested his new powers. He could clearly tell the difference while using Fireball and Stone Bullet. Sui also used water magic to produce a huge amount of water, then used water and acid spells against distant targets. Fel suggested a sparring session, but Mukoda refused and started practicing Stone Wall. He built a simple house with earth magic, but Fel and Sui weren't very impressed. After hunting, Fel returned with the black serpent Mukoda had promised Lambert and expected a good meal. Meanwhile, Lambert was struggling to pick out a gift for his wife on their wedding anniversary. His wife thought she already had enough leather bags, but Lambert insisted they were all slightly different and carefully designed with quality leather. The next morning, Fel admitted that Mukoda's stone shelter was more comfortable than expected and suggested hunting again. But Mukoda decided to return to Carolina to give Lambert the black serpent hide and collect the monster meat being processed at the guild. When he arrived at the Adventurers Guild, Johan handed him the bloody horn bull meat and the money from the sale of its other parts. Willem was busy talking to the city lord about the mithril lizard and the new mine. Mukoda gave Johan the black serpent and asked him to sell everything except the meat and hide, which Johan agreed to do. Back at the inn, Mukoda took out a meat grinder he bought from online grocery. He used 6 parts bloody horn bull and 4 parts orc general meat. Sui happily worked the grinder and soon finished all the meat. Mukoda soaked breadcrumbs in milk, then mixed them with eggs, sautéed onions, and the meat. Mukoda shaped the mixture into round patties and stored the extras in the item box. After frying them, Mukoda poured his homemade sauce on top. He had also placed cheese inside some of the patties. Fel and Sui liked the food, and Mukoda was happy with the new machine's success. Later, Mukoda noticed the local soap didn't bubble up at all. He got a business idea and bought soap, shampoo, and conditioner from Japan, then transferred them to local containers. Watching Sui wash himself made Mukoda want a proper bath too. Mukoda went to Lambert's shop and sold the black serpent hide for 50 gold coins. Then he said he was a registered merchant and wanted to sell his cleaning products. Lambert examined the soap and liked its scent. His wedding anniversary was coming up, and his wife didn't want any more bags or accessories, so he thought these would make a good gift. When Mukoda learned Lambert had a bath at home, he asked to see it. Lambert explained that colorful tubs, water-purifying magical tools, and earth magic construction could raise the cost to several hundred gold coins, but he offered to introduce Mukoda to a shop. Mukoda left one of each product with him to try for one night. The next morning, Lambert introduced Mukoda to his wife Marie, who loved all the products. She said that after using them, Lambert smelled pleasant and his hair became shiny, while her own hair turned smooth and shiny. Her friends were amazed by the change, and Marie believed they and other women would want to buy the same things. Since Mukoda didn't have a permanent shop, Lambert offered to sell the products from his store. Mukoda agreed and gave him several containers, even though refilling them over and over was tiring. Still, he was satisfied with the business deal and looked forward to getting a bathtub. Later, Mukoda went alone to the busy guild, while Fel and Sui waited outside. There, people were worried about the rising number of Wyvern sightings. In Willem's office, a huge pile of coins was waiting for Mukoda. The city lord had given him 800 gold coins for discovering the mithril mine. Now Mukoda could easily buy a bathtub. Just then, Annette brought urgent news that a low-rank adventurer party had been attacked by a pack of wyverns while hunting in the western plains. Everyone escaped, but many party members were badly wounded and poisoned by the tails. The guild attendants didn't have enough antidotes or potions. Mukoda immediately handed over his high-grade potions. The wounds closed, and the poison was cured. Willem announced an emergency quest for all available C-rank and higher adventurers to eliminate the wyverns before they reached the city. Bell came in and offered to handle the whole quest by himself, asking to keep the meat as his reward. Willem agreed and also promised an extra reward. Fel told the other adventurers to stay back, and Mukoda had to go with him. In the western plains, Fel saw the wyverns flying in the sky and taught Sui how to hunt airborne enemies. He explained that to defeat them quickly, they should aim for the head or attack the large wings to bring the enemy down. At first, Sui had trouble hitting small targets, but then managed to attack a wing with acid bullet. The wyvern fell to the ground, and Fel finished it off with a precise strike. Fel and Sui worked together to take down around the rest of the wyverns, keeping the bodies in good condition to save the meat. Mukoda hid behind a rock, worried by how much Sui was enjoying the fight. Suddenly, a wyvern attacked Mukoda from behind. Fel's barrier blocked the first attack, but the impact knocked Mukoda to the ground. When it attacked again, Sui made his body big and shielded Mukoda. Fel quickly arrived and finished off the wyvern, then wiped out the rest of the pack. After the battle, all three were hungry. Mukoda coated the prepared meat patties in flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, then fried them to make 3 kinds of minced cutlets. Fel liked the bloody horn bowl cutlets the most, while Sui preferred the orc general ones. Mukoda was happy that their food preferences were now different. After securing Carolina, the 3 of them ate together. After defeating all 13 wyverns, Mukoda, Fel, and Sui returned to Carolina. Willem and the other adventurers were relieved to see them safe, since they thought even Fel might have trouble against so many wyverns. Mukoda hid the fact that the fight ended quickly, and most of the time was spent eating cutlets. But Fel and Sui told everyone anyway. Soon after, the guild announced to the whole city that the wyvern threat was over. Willem agreed to have all the corpses processed for free, but the guild could only buy half the valuable materials. During this, Mukoda remembered the goddess's offerings. Ninrir secretly asked for extra sweets and dorayaki. Kasharli wanted soap and shampoo, while Rusalka wanted food cooked by Mukoda. Their request couldn't stay secret because everyone could see the offering being sent. When Agni found out, she demanded alcohol, and all the goddesses started arguing for their own things. After that, Mukoda went to Ilario Company to buy the bathtub he wanted. The shopkeeper showed him several expensive tubs, including a white luxury tub and a green one with magic stones. The green tub could keep water hot, so Mukoda chose it and paid in full right away, surprising the shopkeeper. Mukoda put the tub in his item box and left the city with Fel and Sui. In a quiet spot, Mukoda built stone walls for privacy and set the tub in the middle. Sui filled it with water, and Mukoda heated it with fire magic. He and Sui washed first, then soaked in water with yuzu-scented bath salts. Sui really liked the warm, fragrant water. After bathing, Mukoda drank coffee milk while Sui drank fruit milk, and Mukoda wanted Fel to learn to bathe too. Fel was out hunting, so Mukoda made wyvern judon using onions, soy sauce, sugar, sake, ginger, and rice. When Fel was late coming back, Mukoda started making wyvern stew with vegetables, butter, red wine, and demi-glace sauce. Fel finally returned, bringing an earth dragon with him. He said the wyverns weren't enough exercise, so he went farther and encountered an earth dragon. Mukoda started to worry because rare monsters that were hard to sell or have butchered were already piling up in his item box. Fel only wanted to eat dragon meat, so Mukoda agreed to ask the guild for help. Before feeding Fel, Mukoda noticed his fur was covered in dirt from hunting. He refused to give Fel any food until he bathed. Mukoda bought animal shampoo, a brush, and towels from online grocery. Fel kept saying he wasn't a dog but a Fenrir, but he didn't run away because of the food. Sui poured water over Fel. Then Mukoda shampooed Fel's thick fur and even cleaned his face. After the bath, Fel shook himself and splashed most of the water onto Mukoda. To dry Fel's fur, Mukoda combined his fire magic with Fel's wind magic to create warm air. After cleaning, Fel's fur became shiny, soft, and fluffy. In the end, all 3 of them ate wyvern gyudon together. At first, Fel thought Mukoda added rice to reduce the amount of meat, but he soon started to like the taste of meat and rice with the sweet and salty sauce. According to Mukoda, the soft wyvern meat was like high-quality beef, while Sui liked the pickled red ginger. Fel and Sui asked for more food, but Mukoda saved the stew for another day. Sui liked Fel's new clean look, so Fel agreed to bathe once or twice a month. When they returned to the guild, Johan refused to butcher the earth dragon because every part was extremely rare and valuable. Willem advised them to go to Dolan, where the guild master knew more about dragons and might be able to process it properly. Fel also wanted to eat kraken and sea serpents from the sea, so Mukoda decided to visit Dolan on the way. Before leaving, Mukoda said goodbye to Lambert, the children, Lars, and the Phoenix members. Willem gave him a letter and a map showing the route, settlements, and dangerous areas. After that, Mukoda set out from Carolina with Fel and Sui toward their next destination. Later, they ate the wyvern stew, and Fel and Sui looked forward to what they would eat next.